The Great Unsharing, a requiem for the public bike, a ransom for the private one. A tale of two bicycles is unfolding in China's cities, a story of ebb and flow. Or more precisely, a story of vanish and hike. One fades, the other inflates. The public bicycles, those state-sponsored steeds of the people, are teetering on the brink of extinction. A casual scroll through Douyin reveals the death notices. A bulletin from Weifang's Binhai Development Zone in September. The public bike system, a faithful servant for 12 years, is being put out to pasture. A reply from Suzhou's Urban Management Bureau to a concerned citizen. The city's public bikes will enter a 3-year sunset plan, starting in 2025, with final decommissioning slated for December 2027. Qingju issued its decree in June. Contract expired, service terminated as of July 1st. Mansion and Anhui announced the end on May 28th, citing obsolete equipment. The list is a graveyard. Wuhan in 2017, Guangzhou in 2018, Beijing in March of 2021. Haha, Yangzhou, I won't recite the whole eulogy. The cause of death is always the same. Maintenance costs are simply too damn high. The system is hemorrhaging cash. According to a survey cited by CCTV Finance, over 96% of public bike rides were free. Beyond the initial 800 yuan per bike procurement cost, you have the docking stations, the warehouses, the vehicle dispatching, the endless repairs and upkeep, a bottomless money pit. I dug up some numbers. Take Ningbo, a city that can afford to bleed. Between 2018 and 2020, its public transport fund review showed a subsidy of 4.16 billion yuan for bus deficits. For bicycles, a mere 55.55 million. But when you break it down, the annual maintenance cost for a single bike was roughly double its purchase price. 55 million yuan down the drain in 3 years. A city like Ningbo can swallow that. But for your average prefecture-level city, especially in the central and western regions, that's a fatal wound. Remember the company Xing? They were the poster child for this model: docked bikes, government contracts, a classic Didi business. Last year, they wrote off 100 million in bad debt. Their accounts receivable stood at 738 million in 2021. By last September, it was still 513 million. The government IOUs just keep piling up. And yet, scrolling through the comments on these shutdown notices, you find a surprising amount of grief. People are genuinely sad. The public bike was like an old friend from a simpler era. A decade ago, before our streets became a Cambrian explosion of mobility options, the e-scooter swarms, the rickety three-wheelers, those budget four-wheeled death traps, the endless fleets of Didi cars, private vehicles, and shared bikes, there they were. Neatly arranged in their docks, affectionately nicknamed Little Green, Little Red, or Little Blue. The elderly could use their cards, the young could scan a code. The rule was 1 yuan per hour, but the first hour was free. So you'd ride for 50 minutes, dock it, grab another, and ride for free indefinitely. It was a beautiful, elegant loophole. But then, slowly, fewer people rode them. The network of stations, once a marvel, became a fatal flaw. Over the last decade, our cities sprawled from old towns to new districts, and population density shifted like sand. New residential complexes, towers 30 or 40 stories high, packed like sardines, sprang up with hardly any bike docks. The old logic was to place docks near bus stops. A fine idea, until the bus system itself began its own shocking decline. And so a simple plan became a double bind, inconvenient to borrow, and even more inconvenient to return. By the time you wrestled the bike into a full dock and walked the rest of the way home, you felt like you just completed a mountain expedition. The streets are a battlefield. If you don't occupy the territory, your enemy will. As the public bikes retreat, the shared bikes advance, their prices leading the charge. Last year, social media erupted with complaints. The standard starting price for many shared bikes on a weekday warped from 1.5 yuan for the first 15 minutes to 1.5 yuan for the first 10. After that, it's another yuan for every 15-minute block. An hour-long ride quietly inflated from 4.5 to 5.5 yuan. Not here, some will say. They gave out coupons, the e-bikes have discounts. Ah, the sweet, fleeting illusion of competition. Price hikes are not universal because the market is not uniform. A 2024 report on bike sharing across 32 major cities reveals a fragmented landscape. Some cities have only pedal bikes, some only e-bikes, some have both. Each city has its own governance goals, its own barriers to entry. Some municipal leaders can't stand the sight of a poorly parked bike, even with electronic fences. Others embrace the whole ecosystem, figuring that as long as it's managed, it's a public good. In cities where the competition is fierce, the corporate rivals play a cynical game of duck-duck-goose with their pricing. Hello raises its price, so Meituan lowers theirs. Meituan hikes, so Qingju drops. But in cities where the market is carved up or monopolized by a single player, a comfortable consensus emerges. When your competitor is bleeding cash and is forced to raise prices, it's not a threat. It's a welcome gasp of air for everyone. Think back a decade, to the cash-burning bonfires of the Great Bicycle Wars. Ofo, the deposit king, rolling out of college campuses. Mobike expanding across the nation. Hello blanketing the map. Each backed by their sugar daddy capitalists, the red, yellow, and blue armies clashing on every street corner. They burn through money without a second thought. Half a yuan for 30 minutes or even an hour. Top up your account and get so many coupons it was practically free. It was a frenzy on par with the 1-cent food deliveries and 2 yuan Didi rides of the same era. The wars for food delivery and ride-hailing eventually ended. Those two business models somehow clawed their way to viability. The giants now sit atop their thrones, raking it in. Food delivery profits from restaurant commissions, delivery fees, and promotional charges. Ride-hailing profits from driver commissions and passenger membership fees. Those empires grew. But bike sharing, it was left twisting in the wind. How does it make money? Monthly passes, ride bundles, and one-off payments. A pittance. According to media estimates, the three giants, Hello, Meituan, and Qingju, operate roughly 10 million, 5.2 million, and 6.7 million bikes, respectively. With annual operational costs between 300–600 yuan per bike, the big three are burning through a combined 7.6 to 14.2 billion yuan every year. Hello's own prospectus revealed a 4.85 billion yuan loss from 2018 to 2020. Meituan's new initiatives segment, which includes the bikes it acquired from Mobike, has been a sea of red ink from 2019 to 2023. Didi has never disclosed Qingju's losses, but its other initiatives segment has also been consistently unprofitable. How to solve such sorrows? Only by hiking the price. From half a yuan for 30 minutes in 2016 to 3 yuan for 30 minutes today. A 600% increase in 9 years. The unholy trinity of Meituan, Qingju, and Hello now commands over 90% of the market in a cozy oligopoly. And riding with them is the best-case scenario. The real predators are the knockoff e-bike brands that have sprung up in recent years. A tourist in a scenic spot scans a bike, rides for 16 minutes, and gets hit with a 50 yuan bill. The fine print? A 30 yuan starting fee, plus a 20 yuan penalty for parking outside their microscopic designated zone. With prices like that, you might as well just mug people directly. So, was the public bike murdered by the shared bike? Yes and no. It was a crime with many accomplices. The background radiation was the rise of everything else. The output of e-scooters, those ubiquitous electric donkeys, has exceeded 40 million units per year from 2010 to 2021, with 420 million now on the road. A terrifying number. Then there's ride-hailing. As of 2024, China has 7.48 million licensed Didi-style drivers, a 159% increase since 2020. And the subways? In 2015, 26 cities had a total of 3,618 km of track. By 2024, it's 58 cities with 12,160 km, a nearly threefold expansion in under a decade. The rise of the e-scooter, the Didi, and the subway was the perfect storm. The cash-burning shared bike was simply the last straw. There's an old saying, the most expensive things in life are free. From the perspective of a city manager, the books have to balance. On one side, you have revenue from taxes and land sales. On the other, you have expenditures, urban construction, healthcare, education, public transport. National revenue from land sales peaked in 2021 at 8.7 trillion yuan. By 2024, it had plummeted to 4.8 trillion. That money, a slush fund for local governments, has been slashed. And with tax revenues shared with the central government, local authorities are left with 50% of the fiscal power, but 80% of the public service responsibilities. The math is brutal. Too many mouths to feed, and the biggest source of cash just got cut in half. If you can't increase revenue, you must cut costs. And who gets cut? You triage. The subway, a public good that aggregates massive passenger flow and creates huge positive externalities, is the vital organ. You subsidize it, even if it bleeds, no matter what. The bus system is a limb. You try to save it, propping it up with subsidies and side hustles, keeping the city's arteries connected. The public bicycle, that's not trimming the fat, that's stopping the bleeding. To be fair, there is one shining exception, Hangzhou. In stark contrast to most cities, Hangzhou's little red bikes are thriving, with peak daily usage hitting 473,000 rides. After the government divested in 2019, the city's early investment in station kiosks paid off handsomely. They were converted into newsstands, retail points, and even delivery locker hubs. The awnings became prime advertising real estate. Incredibly, the system is now breaking even. You have to hand it to the Zhejiang merchants. They know how to run a business. But Hangzhou is an anomaly. Most cities only had docks, not pavilions. There was nothing to salvage. So, in the shadow of the public bike's demise, As the triumphant shared bikes jack up their prices, what is the solution? Competition, that's the polite way of saying it. The impolite way, let them fight. There's a new buzzword floating around from the top, the National Unified Market. The logic is simple. Why are shared bike prices rising? High operational costs. Why do they dare to raise them in unison? Because a three-way oligopoly has formed a comfortable truce. And why is this oligopoly so stable? Because different cities have created different barriers to entry, protecting the incumbents. One of the key tenets of the National Unified Market is to smash these protectionist walls. In March, China National Radio reported that the National Development and Reform Commission had already flagged over 30 cases of anti-competitive practices in the bike-sharing sector. A city in Yunnan was called out for illegally granting an exclusive franchise. A district in Beijing was shamed for using a bidding process to select a single, sole provider. Last year in Luoyang, after representatives called for a halt to the endless price hikes, the city's official response was that it had scrapped its choose one of 3 exclusive agreements and was bringing in new players. The path forward is clear. The big 3 want to raise prices because they're losing money? Fine. No one can be forced to do business at a loss, but if you can't afford to play, then shrink your operations. What you cannot do is block new players from entering the game. As the old saying goes, the cloud is in the sky, the water is in the vase. Everything has its natural place, its proper limit. Vicious, subsidized price wars are unsustainable, but using a monopoly to fill the financial craters you dug for yourself is unacceptable. A cake this big needs more knives to slice it. That's all for today. We'll dissect another issue next time.